Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
We have talked to a financial advisor, and he recommended that we put it in an annuity.
I knew it. Before you said that, I was going to say, wait, let me tell you. I can tell you what the financial advisor said.
And brokers pushing annuities may not just be getting money. Last year, Elizabeth Warren released a report on sales perks in the annuity industry, ranging from free cruises to luxury watches to, and this is true, this tacky Super Bowl-style ring, which is absolutely ghastly, but I guess at least it makes it easy to spot brokers that you shouldn't work with.
I would die and go to hell before I would sell an annuity.
Why do some people hate annuities? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with offices in Louisville and Bowling Green. Your host, five-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
Google the word annuity and you'll see all sorts of conflicting opinions on the merits of them. Some will write about them in glowing remarks, others will rant and rave about how much they cost, how complicated annuities are, and why you should never own an annuity. Some will even go as far as to tell you that they'd rather go to HE-double hockey sticks as opposed to selling you an annuity. So which is it? Are annuities evil or good? Should you consider investing your hard-earned money into an annuity or not? Well, welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. I am your host, fiduciary and retirement specialist, Tony Walker. And for about the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to use my everyday experience in the field of working with retirement income planning, and particularly annuities, to share with you the truth about annuities, both the pros and the cons. But first, got to always introduce, within the confines of our brand new studio in Louisville, America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander, who's producing the show, along with his faithful sidekick, Mr. Matt Stebbins, who's over at the soundboard there. All right, in my 35 years in the financial trenches, I have to admit, of all the financial products I've ever offered to my clients, and I mean I've pretty much offered and sold about every financial product imaginable, the most misunderstood, and as we're going to find out in a minute, unfortunately, misrepresented products of them all has got to be an annuity. And if you listen to all these annuity crashers out there, you'd think that nobody is investing in them. Yet, as we're about to see, there has been a dramatic uptick in the number of Americans who are now purchasing more and more annuities, particularly one type of annuity that we're going to focus on today, referred to as the fixed indexed annuity. In fact, Aaron, let's do this. Before we go too far, let's put up a full screen definition of what the heck an annuity even is. So first of all, annuities are contracts. They're really not investments. They're a contract between you and the insurance company, whereby the insurance company agrees to certain terms or conditions in exchange for you're called the annuitant if you're buying the annuity, and you give them a premium. So it makes sense when you think about it. Car insurance, home insurance, health insurance, you fund those policies with a premium, and such is the same with annuity. An annuity is an insurance contract funded with a premium. Now, of course, you can roll investments into an annuity, like your 401k or brokerage accounts. They can be liquidated and put into an annuity, but again, it's called the premium. Now, in exchange for this, you get something called mailbox money. That's the definition of lifetime income, and it really seems pretty simple, so here's where it gets a tad more complicated. The insurance industry has created basically 4 types of annuities. You have a fixed interest annuity. My favorite is the fixed indexed annuity. That's the second type. Then you have the third type called an immediate annuity, and finally, the one that a lot of people kind of complain about because it does have a lot of fees and risks, one that we don't sell, that's called the variable annuity. So again, of all of those 4, what we're going to be talking about today is the fixed indexed annuity. And by the way, I love these products so much, I own quite a few fixed indexed annuities on myself. My wife, who's the ultimate saver, she has a fixed indexed annuity. And since I've been doing this so long and speaking nationally on this topic, we've got over 2,500 fixed indexed annuities that I've personally written, totaling over $300 million. So yes, I guess you could say I'm a little biased, and I do love annuities, particularly the fixed index. Now you might say, well, Tony, how come everybody else doesn't like them? Well, that's not really true. In fact, look at this recent article. It's entitled The Rise of Fixed Indexed Annuities, as it appears in Wealth Management Magazine, their edition on 2016 of December. And it talks about how annuities have grown from a small amount to over $50 billion in premium in 2015. Well, you fast forward to 2018, recent statistics show that sales of fixed indexed annuities are over $120 billion. So that's a lot of increase. Here's another article from Think Advisor, Marlene Satter. She makes a comment, or he makes a comment. I'm not sure who Mr. or Miss Satter is, but it doesn't matter. They're basically predicting, someone in this field, that by 2023, fixed indexed annuities could swamp all other sales of annuities. And then finally, this was interesting also in Think Advisor, a gentleman who's actually a advisor down in Florida, Harold Evensky, I think is how he pronounces his name. I like this. He says, another reason I've changed my opinion about the importance of annuities, in particular he likes immediate annuities, is because it's the only investment that will guarantee you'll have an income stream no matter how long you live. So folks, it's growing in popularity, these fixed indexed annuities. The question is there some cases where advisors selling them are actually casting them in a very bad light? And yes, they are. So when I come back, we're going to break down something that's very interesting. In fact, we're going to show you how in the world an insurance company can guarantee you 6% and why many advisors unethically are not telling you the whole story behind these high, what's called income riders. Good stuff coming up. I'm Tony Walker. I'll be right back.
And now it's time for the adventures of Stella and Scout.
2, 3. Throw it.
You've been watching The Adventures of Stella and Scout.
Tired of the financial world chasing after your money? Dinner seminar invitations? Annoying pop-up ads on your computer from out-of-state advisors? It all adds up to confusion. There is a better way. Meet in person with nationally recognized retirement specialist Tony Walker. Tony's personal one-on-one approach has helped thousands of savers worry less about money, and best of all, Tony's right in our own backyard. Don't leave your retirement to chance. Make the short drive to meet in person with Tony now. To get started, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Welcome back to the WorryFree Retirement. In case you're just joining us, we're taking a deep dive into one of my favorite types of annuities. There's 4 types, but this is called the fixed indexed annuity. Now, we've also been talking about why some in this financial world hate annuities, and sometimes it's actually for good reason. In fact, many advisors I see, unfortunately, I have to say they're either unethical or simply ignorant, as we're going to see. There are a lot of unscrupulous sales tactics going on, which in my opinion, give annuities a terrible rap. So let's walk over to the WorryFree Retirement Monitor and kind of take a look at something I created. This was actually something I was asked to present at a large conference years ago, and it really helps people understand the differences between the 3 values of annuity. So if you have an annuity, maybe you've been to a recent dinner seminar pitching annuity, or you're just thinking about buying an annuity for whatever reason, you really need to understand these 3 values, and it potentially can save you a lot of heartache and guard you from unscrupulous salesmen out there. So basically what we did, we call this the ultimate form of mailbox money. Now, whenever we're talking about mailbox money, we're adding something to the contract, the insurance company is, called an income rider. Now, the income riders vary among companies. We're not endorsing a company. We just pulled some numbers out of the blue just to show you conceptually how they work. So don't bank on this. These rates change all the time. So we're just trying to help you understand conceptually how an indexed annuity with an income rider works. Now, in this example, we showed putting in $200,000. So let's say you had a 401k. You were interested in locking that money up and not losing any money. Remember, the fixed indexed annuity has no risk. And you're getting in retirement and you're thinking, hey, I'd like to have some mailbox money one day, Tony. How's this work? So we moved the $200,000 from the 401k into the IRA annuity. No cost to do that, no taxes, because we're establishing an IRA. Now, in this example, these companies all give different bonuses, but the longer you're willing to tie up the money with the insurance company, they give you upfront bonuses. Some are 5, 3, 10. This one in this example we're using gives a 7% bonus. So literally, they're going to add, that's even after they pay us agents a commission to sell this product, they're going to add $14,000 to the $200,000. So right out of the gate, your account is worth $214,000. Now notice the income rider is at 6%. 6%. Next segment, we're going to see a couple of unscrupulous tactics going on. Really interesting what some of these agents are doing. And then this does come with a fee. The reason this annuity comes with a fee because we've added the 6% income rider. So remember that. Even a fixed indexed annuity normally has no fees. In most cases, if you add on an income rider, there is a fee to be concerned with. So keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's look at year 1. What happens here? So there's the 3 values. We have surrender value, contract value, and income value. And we notice this. Even though you have $214,000 with this contract, if you bail on this, if you cancel it in the first year, you're only getting $178,000. That's a huge hit. So again, folks, this is why we don't recommend putting all of your money in annuities. If you have to get out of these annuities, especially in the early years, it can be pretty painful. So don't do that. Do not put all of your money into an annuity. Now, the contract value is what's linked to the stock market. We're assuming it makes 2% just to be conservative. So at the end of the first year, your contract value is $218,000. Not bad. But look at the income value. The 6% guaranteed income value, look at that, $226,000. So if I stopped there and if I was an unscrupulous advisor and said, hey, what if I can get you 6% guaranteed? And I could say that it really is a guaranteed number, 226, but there is a catch to that number, as we'll see. So let's kind of speed through this. Let's look at the surrender value in year 5. It goes up, but you still are going to lose money if you cash it in. Year 5 on the contract value, it's gradually growing. That's fine. And then finally, the income value, wow, that thing is taken off. $286,000. You said, well, Tony, where are you going with this? Let's keep going. Let's fast forward to year 10. Assuming no withdrawals, okay, you've just kept this going. Surrender value is now above what you put in, your original 200, all right, worst case scenario. The contract value, assuming 2%, 234, not bad for a safe investment. But look at the income value, $383,000. But you look at all this and you say, but Tony, what do those 3 columns really mean? I'm already getting confused. I mean, if I were to die, would my family get the $383,000? Or if I want income, do I base it on that? What are these numbers for? And that's why I created this simple little graphic below this. So let's come over and look at this. If we can, we notice that the surrender value, the purpose of the surrender value is if you cancel the contract. That's what you're going to get. That's called the surrender value, and it varies for different terms. You could have a 4-year, 5-year, 16-year. So remember, surrender value, maturity value are totally different things. Surrender value, what will you get if you cancel? Well, what's that contract value, Tony? Now, this is where a lot of people get confused. The contract value is what your heirs would get at death. So let's think about this a minute. You and Martha have this income annuity. You're thinking about taking mailbox money. You're both hit in a car and you're dying a common accident. You're out. Both of you are gone. We say, what happens to that $383,000? It's just an accounting number, folks. It's not really a real number. In other words, your heirs are only going to get the 234, so if you're halfway decent at math, you realize that ain't 6%. So what is this large number for? What is this income value for? It's there to calculate your mailbox money. So folks, you've got to understand these values, and many of you are rushing out and buying these annuities, and people are not explaining these. So what I'm going to do, we're going to take a quick break. I got to refresh my screen here. We're going to show you a couple of very, very unscrupulous tactics that are going on right now that you've got to guard yourself from when looking at annuities. I'm Tony Walker. I'll be right back.
Win or lose, games are a blast, but playing around with your retirement is serious business. So don't leave your retirement to chance. Get a retirement game plan from well-known retirement specialist Tony Walker. Learn how to be worry-free in retirement with a safe and simple game plan that includes mailbox money for life. To meet in person with Tony, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
And now it's time for Tony in the Trenches.
Our Tony in the Trenches question comes from Ann, who recently apparently attended a dinner seminar about retirement and then met with an advisor following the seminar. And according to Ann, she said the following: Tony, this advisor showed me an annuity that would provide me a guaranteed first-year return of 11%, which in my view seems too good to be true. Is it? Well, actually, Ann, unfortunately it is. So again, our first unscrupulous advisor sales tactic with these annuities is doing what we shouldn't do here. What they're doing, if you see 10, 11, 12%, folks, that is not the true yield of an annuity. In fact, if you want the true yield of an annuity, the highest yields right now are around 4%. So when you hear at 11%, folks, that is not a real number. Now, granted, the income value might be growing at this. Let's look at what they're doing here. So if I took the 7% bonus plus the 6% the first year, I could rightfully so say, hey, you just made 13% the first year. And if we come down to the income rider, if we add these up, we would have an income rider amount that would have grown to 13%. But remember, that's not a real number. If you cash it in, it goes away. If you take money out, it goes away. At death, it goes away. So that's the first line of defense. First of all, nothing's going to pay that. If you hear first-year guaranteed returns of 12, 13, 14%, in almost all cases, that is not accurate. Now, the second unscrupulous thing we see going on, and this is getting really bad, is calculating what we call rates of return. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go full screen, and I'm going to show you a little calculation I saw recently. So the good thing about talking to me, folks, and watching the show, I'm out in the trenches every day. All of the information for the show topics comes from meeting with savers. We're recording this show on Tuesday, March 26, 2019 in Louisville. I had about 15 appointments yesterday. So I see all of this, I hear all of this, and all I'm doing is taking this information and trying to share it with you to help you avoid some of these same mistakes people are making. All right, so here goes. We took a fixed indexed annuity, and we imagined this particular statement I saw from an advisor. They deposited $250,000 with this advisor in a fixed indexed annuity. The advisor showed that as of today, the contract value, remember the contract value, is worth $291,000 and some change. Okay, that's fine. And then they showed the income value of $428,000 and some change. So the question is, what has been the growth rate or the rate of return of this annuity? Well, it depends on whether you're talking about the contract value or the income value. And again, in our last segment, we just talked about this. Since the income value is not a real number, that large income value is only used to calculate mailbox money, you can't use it in a rate of return calculation. But this is what this advisor did. They took the $250, that's called the present value, then they took the future value of the income account at $428,000, which gave this person the assumption of a growth rate of 9.3%. Now, folks, who in the world wouldn't want to do that, and who in the world wouldn't feel good about that annuity? But that is not how the annuity is calculated. The average return of the annuity, you have to use the cost basis, and then the contract value. Now granted, if you lived a long time and you took the income out of the annuity or the mailbox money and lived a long time, you might end up making 6-7% on it. But there's no way we will know that until we know when you're going to die. You see, folks, death is involved in these calculations. The insurance companies, they have people called actuaries, and these actuaries sit around all day trying to figure out when we're going to die. They then base their rates, their payouts, their interest rates, their bonuses, the contractual language of the annuity on those statistics of death. So the question is, what's going to be the rate of return? We don't know that until you take all the money out of the annuity, live a certain number of years, and then go back and calculate the rate of return. So here's my advice to you. We also have a booklet. You might want to go online right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. This is a great place to start. It's called the Annuity Decision Guide for Savers. So again, if you own an annuity, thinking about buying an annuity, maybe you've been on the internet Googling around trying to find out more about annuities, this was written from somebody who writes as many annuities personally as anybody in the country. I've been doing these since 9/11. Again, we've written over 2,500 annuities, fixed annuities, totaling over $300 million. Folks, we understand these products, and more importantly, we know how to make these products work within a plan. So that's the first step, is download that booklet. The second step, and probably the most vital, is to consider meeting with me in person. Our staff, we have a very large staff, but the good thing about the way I've set up my organization is I want to meet with people in person, and I assume people want to take advantage of the experience and expertise I have. So unlike a lot of firms that have a ton of advisors, nothing wrong with that approach, but what I'd rather do is have a ton of service specialists that are there to help service your needs, whether it's Social Security, required minimum distributions, Roth conversions, life insurance, long-term care, all those things we can do, and yes, even our Charles Schwab platform where we can manage your money. We can do all of these things for you, one-stop shop at Tony Walker Financial. So take advantage of meeting with me in person to find out more about our services and whether an annuity is right for you. Log on now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and simply click on that Let's Get Started button. Well, what does the Bible have anything to say about annuities and what happens to annuities when we die? It really doesn't, but it does have something to say about choices we make before we die and our eternal security. Some good stuff coming up, but as you know, I got to get me a cup of coffee. I'll be right back.
Tired of the roller coaster ride of the stock market? Let Tony Walker show you how to smooth out the ride with your money. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and let's get started. Welcome back to the WorryFree Retirement with the money missionary himself, Tony Walker.
You know, one of my favorite quotes on life and death is the following: "A man is not ready to live until a man is ready to die." I often say about my own walk when my wife Susan says, "Tony, why do you keep working this hard and doing all this stuff?" And I say, "Susan, you know, I may not live a long life, but I sure as heck plan on living a full one." And while our topic today on fixed indexed annuities reveals why so many savers are putting more and more of their money into these products due to the fact that they can't outlive the money, in other words, it's guaranteed for the rest of their life, that's a good thing, of course. Problem is, annuities aren't going to help you too much when you're dead and gone. No, this matter of life and death and the choices we make, no, only the Bible can deal with this age-old question of what happens after I'm dead and gone. You know, earlier I was making light of the one fella from Wall Street talking about how much he hates annuities and how he'd rather die and go to hell as opposed to selling an annuity. But in reality, speaking of heaven and hell in such light-hearted manner is no laughing matter. In fact, it's a touchy subject. However, it is interesting that God speaks on money and possessions more than He speaks in the Bible on heaven and hell. Maybe that's because God knew we'd be more preoccupied with the present, money and possessions, than we would about our eternal future. I mean, I would have to agree, it is a lot more fun to talk about using and enjoying our money versus what's going to happen to us when we die. Now in Luke 23:39, it's really interesting. We set the stage in only the way God could when He sets up this predicament of two thieves who are being crucified right along beside Jesus. Now, it's interesting that one of the thieves is over there yelling at Jesus saying, "Hey man, get us out of here. Let's save ourselves. You can do this." And to which he yells literally this, "Are you not Christ? Save yourself and us." Now, the other thief hasn't said anything, realizing that he has no hope of getting off that cross. He in turn looks at Jesus and simply says this, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus replies, "Truly I say to you today, you shall be with me in paradise." Two thieves, two different choices. One chooses to try to save himself. The other realizes that life is about to end and places his faith in Christ. One chooses heaven, the other doesn't. You know, I tend to think the reason God placed these two thieves beside Jesus is he knew these two thieves actually kind of represent us. You see, we're the ones that have to choose which cross we're going to climb up on because we're all going to die. The question is, which cross are we going to hang our hope on? But by God's grace, he gives us a choice, yes, even up until the last very breath. My advice in this limited time on earth, take your choice seriously and choose well. Well, speaking of choices, you've got a choice to make right now in regards to your money. My question is, who in the world are you placing your trust in when it comes to your retirement and where you're going to invest your hard-earned money, not only now, but who's going to be there for you as you grow through retirement? Who's in your corner working in your best interest to make sure you use and enjoy and protect this money for the rest of your life? Well, consider this choice. Consider choosing us. At Tony Walker Financial, we're a full-service retirement planning firm. I've been doing this for 35 years, and we have literally worked with thousands of savers to help them be worry-free in retirement, and we'd like the opportunity to help you too. It's really easy to do, to meet with me in person. All you got to do is log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Once there, you just click on the Let's Get Started button. That information is confidentially sent to our office. In fact, we're really pleased with the response over in the Lexington area. We're over there on LEX TV, besides the many stations in Louisville and Bowling Green. Yes, you can make that short drive to Louisville. We'll be happy to do our best to accommodate your busy schedule. So whether you're in Bowling Green, Southern Indiana, Louisville area, or Lexington, give us an opportunity to talk. And best of all, there's absolutely no cost or obligation to meet. Do it now. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or give us a call at the toll-free number at the bottom of your screen. Well, this concludes today's show on annuities. We're getting ready to start, as promised last week, a 5-part series on what makes the worry-free retirement process, this 5-step process, so unique and why so many savers are taking advantage of it. But you remember, between now and then, if all else fails, we'll see you next week, but you be worry-free. Make it a good one.
Thank you for watching the Worry-Free Retirement with Tony Walker. If you need a safe and simple game plan for your retirement, log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com and schedule a free, no-obligation meeting with Tony.